Friday farm vlog. This morning we found a carcass in the yard, and not even a full carcass, it was just intestines and organs. I cannot find the bones or the head. I don't know what it's from, but I don't know how it got in the backyard, who killed it. It's like a complete mystery and it's boggling my mind. The dogs were circling it when they first went out first thing this morning like it was something new that they hadn't seen before, and then they started to eat it. I feel like if they had killed it, I would have found the bones, the head, and they would have ate it prior to the discovery of it this morning. So what left all these organs in my backyard? Please, if you have any ideas, leave them in the comments below because I want to figure this mystery out. I have been searching this backyard looking for any sort of bones or fur or something to give me a clue as to what happened. As soon as I saw the organs, I quickly scooped them up and removed them. And then I went and checked on all my farm animals to make sure that everybody was accounted for and doing okay. Thankfully, everybody is accounted for, everybody is healthy and doing well. So the mystery continues. What poor animal lost their life in my backyard? And how is just part of the animal in my backyard? But let's talk about something a little happier. Let's go check in with the goats so I can show you what they think of their goat balls. These goat balls are fantastic. Well, they're actually dog toys, but I call them goat balls because the goats use these balls to get their breakfast, and it buys me a little bit of time to be able to get out of the goat pen without the goats escaping. So they love these. This has been a great solution, just to put their breakfast inside of these two balls, stick these balls in their buckets, so they each have their own toy to get the food out of, and the food stays in the bucket instead of going on the ground, so it stays clean. And then I can casually stroll out of the goat pen without that mad dash of trying to get out before the goats can escape. So I'm happy that I got two of these, because having just the one, they were fighting over it like I showed you last week. So these two, perfect. Right? Yes, it worked out good. I have happy goats and I'm happy. Alright, come see what we've been working on this week. So this week we have been working on a compost pile, and not just any compost pile, but an 18-day hot composting pile, and this has been so cool. We literally set it up in a large column that we made out of garden fencing and stacked it like lasagna with our greens and our browns and our nitrogen, and we just kept stacking, making this giant pile that was 5 feet tall, 3 feet wide on top of a pallet. And it started cooking and it got so hot. It was 159 degrees after 5 days in that column, and it was incredible how the compost was already starting to break down. And our next step was to take it out of that column. So to cut the zip ties, I was afraid that I was going to cut the zip ties and open up that fencing, and that big pile was going to come down on top of me and that I'd be covered in poop. But thankfully, when I popped those zip ties, look what happened. The pile stayed in its exact form. It did not move. It was incredible. It was really cool to look at that it actually held its shape. So then we went around with a shovel and a pitchfork, and we took the outside layers that were not hot and we put those into a separate pile to build up the center of the pile, and then everything on the inside of the original compost pile we placed on the outside of the new pile, and that way we were rotating it and aerating it, and the stuff that wasn't composted and hot was now on the inside, and that's gonna heat up. So we got this awesome gigantic compost thermometer so that we could check the temperature and make sure that our pile is heating up properly. We have a tarp on top. This tarp is to keep the rainwater off for when it rains, so that way we can control how wet the pile gets. We stick in our compost thermometer to be able to check the temperature and monitor how hot the pile is getting. So depending on the temperature of the compost, we make adjustments as needed for our compost pile. That is one hot compost pile. Now that it's day 6, this is an 18-day composting pile. So we have 12 days to go. Every 2 days we're going to be rotating that pile. And hopefully in 12 days we'll be able to show you the finished product, which should be some amazing compost, which we'll be able to spread all over this whole garden here. Compost for your garden really, really helps your plants to grow and just brings a lot of nutrients to the soil. So I really encourage you, try making your own compost. I saved my kitchen scraps. I threw those in the pile. I saved the manure and the shavings from the chicken shed. I threw that in the pile. I saved all that extra hay that was left over that the goats dropped on the ground and then refused to eat it. I put all that in there, and that way we're utilizing all the stuff that, instead of just throwing it away and not making use of it, we're gonna put it all in that compost pile, and we're gonna turn that into a beautiful, rich product that we can actually feed our garden with, in turn creating food that we eat ourselves, which is just an incredible process. And I'm really actually enjoying this whole composting process. I find it fascinating, and yes, it's work. You do have to turn the pile, but to know that you're gonna get so much out of the finished product is just totally worth it. Let's go to the house and check on those hatching eggs I've got in the incubator so I can show you the latest candling. Our hatching eggs in our 2 Nurture Right incubators are doing fantastic. They are developing perfectly, and I cannot wait to show you guys the candling videos. Check them out. So I took the candling videos at night when it was dark outside, so this window here, it was nice and dark outside. I could see all of my embryos inside of the hatching eggs using my little flashlight. I have a egg candling flashlight, the Nest Echo. Works great. These chicks are so active. They're just bouncing around inside of their little eggs. In these candling videos, they're only 8 days old. We're now 12 days into incubation with 9 days left to go. So in a couple days, we're going to candle these eggs again and see the development and make sure everybody's doing okay. I'll be sure to let you know next Friday with an update on candling videos and how they're doing. And we'll be getting pretty close to hatch time at that point. This week we had a couple videos come out, one being how to tell the gender of your Buff Orpington chicks, and a video on first aid kits for chickens. So I give you a little sneak peek as to what's in my chicken first aid kit, and I would love to know what you keep in your chicken first aid kit. You should definitely check those videos out. It's Friday Farm Vlog.
1, 2, 3, 4. Now you're learning to farm like me. There is so much more to see. If you're planning on heading elsewhere, bugger you we. Yeah, yeah, yeah. This really is the place to be. What are you waiting